This is Professor Raymond Noble, Department of Ancient History, log entry number 2. I believe I am able to distant past.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, sometimes that is better.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Have you checked the children?
Michael!
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I myself am strange and unusual.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured?
The juice is loose.
Unpleasant dream.
What is up, Terror Talk fans? I'm your host, Jeremy, and we are back and better than ever for Season 5 of the Terror Talks. That's right, we've been doing this little show for about 5 seasons now, some of them a little less than complete seasons, and this is our most, I think last year was our most complete season we had, and now we're rolling into another great season, some really fun stuff on the horizon for this year, 2025, a great scare season. As you can tell, I am on my own today on this episode. I had the privilege of visiting a few haunts this season, flying solo. That is because my co-host Ansley, some of you may know she comes from the haunt acting world, and she has had the great privilege this haunt season to really spread her wings and get to act at several haunts. So she has been guest acting at a lot of places, and yeah, getting to really get out there, get her name out there. So that's a really awesome thing for her. So because of that, this episode is just me, but I'm going to give it all the energy I got. I'm going to give you everything. But before we go any further, make sure, if you have not already done so, go and like us on all of our social medias. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I think we're on Snapchat, we're on X. We're basically, if it's a type of social media, we're there. Follow our YouTube, because there you can watch all of our Inside the Haunts, where we get the unique chance to venture inside of these haunts with our camera equipment, and you get to see what we see, you get to see our reactions, you get to see all that fun stuff. It's a lot of fun. You get to see me cry like a little girl sometimes and fall on the floor because things scare me, and that's just, what a haunt does. It's meant to do that. So if you haven't already done so, be sure to go hit that like, comment, subscribe button on our YouTube as well as all of our social medias. And yeah, that's really all there is to say before we dive into this episode. So on today's episode, we are going to the ultimate backwoods horror attraction, Spooky Bottom Haunted Trail, located in Seagrove, North Carolina, 6059 Union Grove Church Road, Seagrove, North Carolina, to be exact. So this was one that was not on our radar just yet, or it was on our radar, but it was not one we got to attend last year. It was on our radar. We did not get a chance to visit it, and so I was like, this is one that is going on the list of places we have to visit this year. And that's what this year is all about, is we're visiting a lot of new ones that we've never set foot at. We do have some returning favorites on the show that you will hear and see and all that fun stuff later. But this year I really wanted to try and hit a lot more that we had not hit before, as well as also sort of get some inside perspective on what makes a haunt what it is. That has not happened quite as nicely just because of the fact that we're so divided with Ansley doing some haunts and me reviewing the haunts, so we're kind of dividing and conquering as best we can. So we're going to sort of back up and punt with the whole taking you inside the haunt idea of, and what makes it tick, so to speak. But we're still going to keep doing these reviews. We've still got these reviews. We've still got a lot of great stuff to talk about. So, Spooky Bottom Haunted Trail. This was such a fun experience for me. I had a grand old time getting to meet the owner, Chris, who was wonderful from the moment I got there, and he took me in and gave me a lot of information about the place. Explained to me some really cool stuff that they have coming up, stuff that they have done in the past. He really gave me the full rundown. And I think what's really, really special about this haunt is that it really is your classic haunted trail. It's not something with these really big gargantuan animatronics. It doesn't have these major ginormous special effects that you see in Hollywood. But the beautiful thing about it is, although it is quote unquote classic haunted trail, or as some people may call that, I don't want to say amateur, that's not the right word, but some people might say that it's, it's not classic Hollywood, it's not big or anything. No. The thing about it is this haunt looks classic but has the feel of professional, because the actors put in so much, the owner Chris puts in so much, his team puts in so much. You can tell just from like the moment you get there that there is love put into this place. I don't know if you can hear the dog in the background. Hi, Lucy. Lucy's here. She wanted to come and say hello to everybody. So if you hear jingling in the background, that's our little Terror Talks mascot, Lucy. You might not even be able to hear her. I don't know. I can't tell on here. But yeah. So from the minute you get there, first thing that is always worth noting is that you're going to pay to park. They charge $5 for parking. Not a bad rate. A lot of haunts actually do that, especially in North Carolina. I've noticed that's a really big thing up that way. A lot of haunts up in the North Carolina area do charge to park. So it's not that unheard of and uncommon. But the way they do it is actually a little different from some of the other haunts. A lot of other haunts, when you get there, you just pull out cash and you hand it to the parking lot attendant or whatever, and it's usually cash only. This haunt, they actually give you a little ticket stub, and you take that ticket stub to the ticket booth when you go up to purchase your tickets, or if you have purchased online tickets, they've got a window for that as well. And you pay for your parking there, and that opens up the avenue of being able to pay with cash or card, which I think is a great thing, because in this day and age, a lot of people don't carry cash on them anymore. We went to a haunt literally this past weekend where they're like, hey, we charge for parking cash only. And I was like, oh, no, that's not good. And luckily, Ansley had a $20 bill in her pocket, and she was able to cover our parking that night. Thank God. But so yeah, that's a really cool way that they do the parking. They also have, we didn't do this ourselves, but it was an option. They have a full hands-on touch pass for $10, and I believe it's just like a glow stick necklace or something, but it allows the actors to go full hands-on for a more extreme experience. This is the first time they've done it. This is something new, and you would purchase that at the ticket booth as well. That's one of the wonderful things you can get. So you've got several different attractions. You've got the Spooky Bottom Haunted Trail attraction, which is your standard haunted trail. And I don't mean standard in a derogatory way. I mean it's just, that's what it is. It's the haunted trail. And if you go online to purchase tickets, they have several different time slots that you can pick. And they have general admission, which is $33. Well, actually, it's $25 with tax, becomes $33. Fast pass is $38 with after tax comes out $47.70, and an all access pass, which grants you immediate access into the attraction plus admission to the UV Jelly Ball and Killers Incorporated Escape Room, which are the other two attractions on property. That's going to cost you $75, and after tax that comes out to about $89.26. So as you heard there are several different attractions there. You have, like I said, you have the Spooky Bottom Haunted Trail. Discover Seagrove, North Carolina's ultimate backwoods horror attraction. Immersive scares, dark woods, and heart-pounding thrills that will leave you breathless. That's the big one. That's the big tuna, if you will. And then they have an escape room, which we did not get to do on the night that we were there, unfortunately. It is something that we will have to go back, and we will try that again when we go. But they have the Killers Incorporated Escape Room. Get ready for a thrilling adventure in our 1950s murder mystery escape room. Do you have what it takes to crack the case in just 5 minutes? So it's, a little 5-minute escape room. Those are always fun, and that's become a staple, really, of haunted houses these days. It's $5 per person, so that's a fun little thing you can do. And then, like I said, they have Jelly Ball. It's the UV glow-in-the-dark Jelly Ball. And it says, immerse yourself in the adrenaline-pumping thrill of UV Jelly Ball against zombies while you wait to enter the haunted attraction or after you've braved the scares within. With 750 rounds of Jelly Balls at your disposal, can you fend off the zombie horde and emerge victorious? This action-packed game promises a no-mess experience akin to using a gel blaster, where precision and teamwork are key to survival. Don't miss out on this pulse-pounding attraction for only $10 per person. Grab your tickets now and show the zombies who's boss. So that's another awesome attraction they have at Spooky Bottom that, again, we didn't get to do it the night that we were there. It was a little bit of a slower night. It was their opening weekend, and as many people know, in the haunt world, we don't know why this is, but opening weekend is always really, really dead for some reason. It doesn't matter what haunt you go to, it is going to be dead when you arrive on opening weekend. We don't know why that is. I think a lot of people figure, oh, we give them opening weekend, they can, sort of work out the kinks and get things kind of rolling there, and that's why nobody comes. But honestly, for me anyways, this haunt really didn't need like an opening weekend to kind of get the gears rolling. They were ready. They were coming out the gate swinging, and I was really, really proud of them for that. Really excited. So let's kind of back up and punt here. You've heard about the 3 attractions that they have there. So we're going to walk you through it. So like I said, you park, $5, great. You arrive, and you have this wonderful midway that is pretty spacious. There's a good bit of room to run around and whatnot. They have a live DJ there who is cranking out the tunes. They've got food and concessions, that sort of deal. On certain nights, they have alcohol, which I found that out. I thought that was actually really cool. I will say, I'm not a huge fan personally of alcohol at haunts, only because alcohol in haunted houses don't always mix. I do not hold that against the haunt nor the owner, because it is also a very lucrative business model. Selling alcohol, people like to buy it. So on one hand, it mixes very well because it makes you money. On the other hand, you never know what kind of people you are going to get, involved with that, and patrons can be the nastiest of folks sometimes. And I'd say not all of them, and certainly not you listening, but sometimes when that alcohol comes out, it's not a great thing. But they do have alcohol on select nights. They also have a sort of freak show Coney Island sort of thing going on, circus tent that is set up there in the corner of their midway, and that's a really cool thing. We didn't get to see that on opening night. It is an added thing that you do have to pay for, but it is exactly what it sounds like. You get all the really cool freak show elements and such, and that is definitely worth checking out for sure. So like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff in the midway. Their ticketing system to call you into the haunt is very good, because when you get your ticket, you get a wristband and they put a number on it, and your number is the group that you go in with. So at the beginning of the night, they might say, all right, groups 1, 2, and 3, you can now get in line. And once in line, they actually time out each group. I think on like a slower night, they like time it out to like 2 minutes almost. So on the night I was there, it was a good little chunk of time before the group ahead of me got far enough in before I could go in, which was really good because it meant that we got a really unique experience. It was customizable to us, basically. There was no bleed over into another group. I wasn't catching like their scares, and they weren't catching mine. The group behind me wasn't catching. Nobody was catching up to each other. So this haunt was really, really paced out well because of that. And even on a busier night, they still try to maintain that. And that's really cool because, like I said, it makes sure that every single bit of the experience is unique and kind of customizable. I don't know that that's the right word, but it's unique to you. So I can safely say, without even going any further into like even though we haven't dove into the details yet of like the review and the ratings, that pacing on this haunt is a 5 out of 5, because nothing is too slow. Nothing is too slow, and nothing feels too rushed either. Because it's like a 22, 25, maybe even 30-minute haunt to walk through. It's a hike. It is a long haunt, and to be that long and still have consistent scares and not interfering with any other groups, that's a beautiful thing. And that's a really tough thing that I have seen even the biggest, most Hollywood gargantuan haunts cannot seem to figure out. So the fact that this haunt, that's like, oh, we've only been around for, 10 years. And that's the other thing. This is their 10th year. They've only been around for 10 years, and they've got this business model that works. And, they're so humble about it. And for them to be like, oh yeah, we know we're not the big haunt with the animatronics, blah 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 blah, but you have figured out a method that works and has honestly kind of put some of the more professional haunts that are in these big 80,000 square foot buildings to shame, because they have conga lines going through them. So good on Spooky Bottom for having this all figured out in a way that really keeps the experience personal. I love that. Love that. So I can safely say, without even going any further, that on a scale of 1 to 5 screams for the pacing of the haunt, 5 out of 5 already. So backing up and punting back to the midway, everything we just talked about, I told you they have the DJ. I think he said they have live bands, so check that out. That's really cool. Food, drinks, alcohol, escape rooms. They've got fire pits set up. So, and that was the thing apparently they added this year, was a lot more seating. And so they literally set up I think I counted 5 or 6 little seating areas, all of that had fire pits around them and benches on all 4 sides of each fire pit. It was like, dang, okay, cool. We're accommodating. It's awesome. So you boil all that up into one. You've got the sort of midway atmosphere that you're going for, and then it comes time to start the show. And with the start of the show, they do something that I really am starting to love, and we've seen a lot of this year. They sort of do an opening little moment, if you will, and they kind of just turn the monsters loose, all from the entire trail. They come out into that midway, and they just go crazy on everybody out there. I was honestly not even expecting it, and I was filming, and I was looking somewhere else, and all of a sudden, I'm surrounded, and I was like, oh my God, where did you guys come from? And it was awesome, and they were so personal with me and with everybody, watching everybody and all the interactions happen. It was so good. It was an amazing experience, and I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing that happened. Sat there and talked with the owner for 15 minutes, and he never warned me that was a thing, and so I'm really glad he didn't, because it caught me off guard and added to the experience I was already having, which already was great, and that just elevated it. And what was really cool is they all had these characters figured out. They all stayed in character. They all had little things that they said that worked beautifully. And what was awesome was the characters that they gave me out in the midway transferred into their zone in the house, which was really, really cool. So there's that. All in all, midway, another solid 5 out of 5. Fantastic. And now I think we can dive into the nitty-gritty of the haunt itself. So one of the things that I was told by the owner himself, like I said, not some big multi-million-dollar haunt with, some ginormous budget. They actually ran, I think he said, a lumber business, I think is what he said. I'm recalling from when we went, so it's a little fuzzy now, but I remember bits and pieces. But this was a haunt that, the way he described it is, I started this haunt with a $100 bill, and it started off in his backyard and grew to the property where they are now, but it was a lumber business that he ran by day, and that business, they were able to recycle a lot of the lumber they didn't use to build their sets. And you can tell these sets are handmade, and they're expertly crafted. They really are. Nothing looks, pardon the phrase, half-assed out there. It really doesn't. All throughout, one of my big pet peeves when I go to haunted houses is, especially trails, is they sort of fall into backyard haunt syndrome, which is a couple little 2x4s sort of haphazardly placed and then some black tarp. So tired of seeing the black tarp. I've seen it. It's done. We get it. That's what you see in your backyard. They really didn't do that, or if they did, they camouflaged it in such a way that you didn't notice it. I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna fault a haunt for doing the black tarp method, but they came up with a way to do something different. And what they did is they actually created walls out of like trees and lumber and stuff all throughout the haunt. And if there wasn't a wall, then you were actually walking down this very eerily lit pathway through the woods. Like I said, it's a classic haunted trail. And that really changed the dynamic for me. It was like, this has this professional vibe here with these walls all throughout. Like, you don't see that often. A lot of people would do the easy cop out, but they went and they literally built walls along the trail. And that alone impressed me. Apart from that, all of the sets throughout the haunt, top notch. I do know, a lot of the stuff is sort of more exposed to the elements, and the owner knows that, and there is actually, all I will say, plans to kind of change that a little bit, but I won't say what he's planning. They do have some buildings that are like actual buildings out there, but a lot of stuff is like, exposed things. So you're kind of limited in what you can do. And yet you really couldn't tell that, they worked with what they had. They had this really cool cemetery scene, which I won't, I'm going to try to keep this as spoiler free as possible. There's some moments that are just like, oh my God, that's incredible. And you won't, obviously I can describe it to you all day. So it doesn't even do it justice. You got to see it for yourself. But they had this great cemetery scene with these gigantic crosses. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like really intricate. I've never seen a cemetery done in this way before. They had this demonic church scene that was absolutely mind-blowing and quite frankly gorgeous, especially given the fact that I'm sure like lights up, maybe it doesn't look as amazing as one would think, but it looked so professionally done from the minute you walked in. It was like, oh my gosh, this is like really intricate. This is really well done. So they don't do anything halfway here. They have some really cool elements all throughout that just blow me away. Set wise, another solid 5 out of 5, honestly. I couldn't see anything that would make me want to dock them any points on that at all, really. Like, it really was impressive. Costumes and makeup. I think that's probably the only place that I'm a little nitpicky about, but the owner also gave me an explanation on that, because a lot of times these owners will ask us what we think, and we try to give them some criticism right off the bat if we can, or praise right off the bat if we can. It depends on, the experience we have. And my one note that I did have was some of the costumes, or not even the costumes, some of the makeup was kind of just like it was not put together much. But the thing about it, those places where it was like that were places that were very, very, very low visibility. And so because of that, it's like, well, we're not going to put this really intricate, detailed, airbrush line makeup, yada, yada, on somebody's face who's going to be sitting in the dark. There's no point to that. There's no reason to that. And so I was like, absolutely, I understand that. I'm just one of those, I come from the theater world that I'm like, you know what, it doesn't matter who's seeing, I want everybody to be a certain way, even if they are in the dark. But that's just me. And so that's my nitpicky, that's my only nitpick. The ones who are like super exposed in light, great makeup, great costumes, well put together. Everything was fantastic there. So because of my nitpickiness, I will give it a 4.5. But that, I don't think that's going to bring down the overall rating on makeup and costumes. And then scares in the actors. One of the biggest pet peeves of ours when we come through a haunt are what Ansley likes to call the elementary scares. The help me's, your get outs, the typical lines that you hear about 87,000 times that have no creativity to them at all. Did not hear that at all in this haunt. Every single line that was said to me was unique to a character, and it was something I'd never heard. I was literally called Fluffy, like Fluffy Iglesia. Someone said I look like Fluffy going through a haunted house. I was like, that's a first. I'm not sure if this is a fat shaming or a dig on my hair or what, but that was cool. That was different. I was told my barber needed to be fired, and I disagree with you. I love my hair, and I think it looks great. So I will disagree with you, but I will not shame you for that because it was a great line that you pulled out, discussing my hairline with me as we went through the haunt. That was great. The actors remembered me from out front, and if they did that with me, I can only imagine they did that with everybody, because they were like saying things like, oh, I saw you from before, or remember me, or, little things like that. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really unique. It's really personalized. And that was something you don't get very often. The scares were there. They were delivered on so well. I was jumping left and right. It really was incredible. It was a great experience. And like I said, everyone had a story to what they were doing. It was really, really nice. So it's another one of those. It's a 5 out of 5 on the actors. It's a 5 out of 5 on scares. It got me. It got me all the way through. So I really have. There's no negative that I can even say about this haunt. Like I said, my only negative comment I made was about the makeup and costumes, and even that is such a small little ding on what a masterpiece this haunt is that it doesn't really hurt me. Are there some things in there that I could have done without? I will say that, because my biggest pet peeve is clowns. I don't like. It's not that I'm scared of them. I just feel like clowns are overdone. But so many people are scared about clowns, so I understand why they still are a haunt staple. I could have lived without the clown room towards the end of the haunt, but I did like the way it was designed. It looked different, and so I'm okay with it. Me personally, I just do away with clowns. That's just me. But don't let my hatred of clowns deter you from visiting this haunt, because that one little boop barely, touches the surface. And honestly, it didn't bother me enough to be like, oh my God, here we go again with the clowns. It wasn't one of those things. So as much as I despise the clown rooms, they pulled it off pretty well, I think, and they did a great thing with it. So I can't really say much more than that. There was one very strange thing at the end of it that I didn't necessarily get, which was the finale scene, or the last little moment. It was a girl with a cupcake, and that was kind of it. I like that it was different from, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to run out of the haunted house from a chainsaw. So it was like, okay, it's a little different, but she didn't really do anything at that point. Like, she was just like, eat the cupcake. And it was like, oh, okay. And it was on a bus, but it was like a sweet tooth bus kind of thing. I don't know. The ending is one thing I'd like to see different, but everything within is so good. It's so fantastic. It's a great haunt. It is a must-see haunt. If you've never been there, it's one you definitely need to add to your list for haunt season, because you can tell that there is love put into it. There is, stuff happening all the time. Obviously, from opening weekend to the end of a season, a haunt is going to evolve. I sent our Inside the Haunt video to the owner and let him know, hey, we just put this up. And, he told us that they're actually adding stuff mid-season. So you could go back to this haunt several times in a season and never get the same show twice. which is really cool and really unique. It's not something that a lot of haunts do. And the fact that he's adding a whole new scene into his haunt is really, really cool. I won't say what it is. I won't say what's happening with it. But if you're hearing this, you need to go this season and check out this haunt. It's really, really cool. And he's already told me about some of his plans moving forward into next season. So I'm really, really excited about that and cannot wait to visit it again. And I encourage all of you to do the same thing. So Midway is a 5 out of 5. Sets are a 5 out of 5. Costumes and makeup, 4.5 out of 5. Scares, 5 out of 5. Acting, actors, more like it, 5 out of 5. And pacing is a 5 out of 5. This haunt is a grand total of, drumroll please, 5 screams. Spooky Bottom Haunted Trail is a 5 out of 5 screams rated haunted attraction on the Terror Talks Scream scale. But don't take our word for it. Go and check it out for yourself this haunt season. This is one we highly encourage you to. They are open every Friday and Saturday night from September 26th through November 1st. All those dates, they are open 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Or you can go on a Sunday night, either October 12th, 19th, 26th, or November 2nd from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. You can save time and get your tickets online, or you can purchase them at the door at the box office. They can go to spookybottom.com, and they are located at 6059 Union Grove Church Road, Seagrove, North Carolina. This is a haunt that you have to check out. We highly encourage you to check out. You can go check them out on their social medias. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Give them a like and some love. Let them know that we sent you to them. Let them know the Terror Talk sent you. We would love, 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 love to hear back from them that, people came and visited the haunt because of the show. I think that'd be really, really cool to get that positive feedback. But make sure you go and check them out this haunt season. It's one you definitely want to check out. Or go ahead and plan to visit them next haunt season. If you can't visit them this one, guess what? The years keep going. I don't think the world's going to end anytime soon. So you get a chance to see them again next year if you don't see them this year. But we highly encourage you to do it. But that is going to bring us to the end of this episode of the Terror Talks, this review on Spooky Bottom Haunted Trail, rated 5 out of 5 screams on our Scream scale. Check them out. Like I said, they are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Their website is spookybottom.com. So that is going to do it for us today on this episode. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on all of our videos. Go check out our Inside the Haunt videos where we take you inside the haunt. And also go like us on our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Snapchat, all that good stuff. Go give us some love on there. You can go check out our Patreon as well. We really haven't done anything on it because nobody has signed up for it yet. So as soon as people start signing up for it, we're going to do some really cool stuff on there. We've got some big plans in the work. If you enjoyed the show, you can donate to us by visiting the link below. If you click on it, we ask you to donate $3 at the max. It's not a huge thing to pay. We just ask that every dollar goes back into the show, helps us with paying for our distributor, and also helps with the haunts and things like that as well. So yeah, and also be sure to check out our sponsor, Haunted FX Props, for all of your prop needs and haunt needs. If you are a haunt owner or in the haunt industry, we highly encourage you to check them out. All of that information is in the description at the bottom of this. So, until next time, be safe out there, don't text and drive, and be excellent to each other. We'll see you in the fog.
Hey, you guys survived to the end of the show. Congratulations, you're all final girl material. But don't worry, you'll have plenty more opportunities to fall victim to our horrifying creations throughout the season. Afraid to miss out on more content?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode.
What's the prime time?
You can also subscribe to our Libsyn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and anywhere else podcasts can be found.
Groovy.
Want to keep up with us regularly? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for all of our social media fun.
Don't fall asleep.
Go check out our website for our written reviews at theterrortalks.wixsite.com.
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Want to help us keep the lights from flickering? You can give us a one-time donation of $3 to support the show by visiting glow.fm/theterrortalks. Simply go to that link, and your one-time donation will go back into keeping the show running from Michael, Freddie, and Jason for another day. You can also subscribe to our Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/theterrortalks. Once there, you can subscribe to one of our 2 tiers, our lowest tier of $1 a month and our highest tier of $5 a month. That's less than 1 cup of coffee, and it all goes right back into our show. Anything else we're forgetting?
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this
Oh yeah,
town.
please give us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcast and let us know that you saw the show. And if there's something you liked or even didn't like, you can also contact us directly at theterrortalks@gmail.com. Well, that does it for this spooky showing. Be safe out there and beware of ghouls, goblins, and monsters. But until next time, happy haunting.